are recording, right?
We are.
We're starting?
We're starting. We're doing it. We're live.
Yes.
Welcome to Hive Scum.
Welcome, listener. Doing a little bonus episode for you guys.
Terry's not here.
Well,
Terry's not here.
Terry's not here.
Yeah, Terry is he's trapped in a tesseract.
He is.
Yeah,
Someone let him out
yeah.
with thousands of dollars of a donation.
What's a
Yeah.
Tesseract?
I don't know.
I don't know. But
like
we
a
do
thing.
have guests.
We do need thousands of dollars, though. So
We need
you could
thousands of
send
dollars,
us-
and we have to introduce our guests. Which one would you like first?
They can introduce themselves.
No, we have to. It's
Okay.
polite, Stephen. Unlike eating into the microphone.
Okay. Joining us all the way from Canada is our good friend, Bill. Hello, Bill.
Hello, Steve.
Hi, Bill. You can talk closer to your microphone.
Talk closer. I'm gonna.
He is a little...
see what Steve
He's
is doing.
soft-spoken. He's a nice guy. You got to turn him up a little bit.
He's a shy little guy.
Whenever I hold a microphone like this, it's like
Real deathcore guy
yeah.
shit.
When I was pretending to be in a band when I was a kid.
Yeah. I mean, that's how Steve does it anyway.
I do this all the time. It's my only way to remember that I have to be close to the
I
mic.
feel like I'm
It's
supposed to do it now, too.
Actually, no.
Yeah,
You
this
are.
is
Yeah.
pretty natural.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, that other voice, that ethereal voice we're hearing.
Who's the other person?
Who is that?
Who are you?
Who are you?
I'm Witty, a.k.a. Wittle Goblin.
Yes. And Bill's Berserker Works, everyone. We should have said that as well. We're professionals.
And who are you?
Oh, hi. I'm Gage at No Clear Coat. Who are you?
I'm Phil. I'm at Blood Transfusion.
I'm Steve at South of Heaven. And I want to say, Phil has been on Instagram.
I know. every like Friday, I download it,
It's like a Friday ritual.
yeah, and then I delete it again. End of the day on Sunday. Yeah, my spare moments are so limited during the week. I don't want to, waste it looking at the phone.
But you're not wasting time because you crushed
It's true.
a full-ass miniature.
Yeah. I painted an entire miniature in 40 minutes, which is like unheard of for me. It's usually like 40 hours.
I think it helped because of what the miniature was.
Yeah. It was already primed and everything. I painted the little Sasquatch that our buddy Chris White, Cryptacrylic, gave me at Adepticon.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
You did a great
It is
job.
very good.
It's
Thank
beautiful.
you. Yeah.
It's got those real cool, like, Mothman eyes.
Yeah.
The bright red eyes.
It's got the eye shine.
Eye shine.
Yeah.
So, hi, friends.
Hi.
We're
We're not talking
hanging
about
out.
us. We're talking about
Yeah,
you now.
yeah. We've been hanging all weekend. You guys were passing through.
I was in the area.
You were in the in the area. What the fuck's up? What's new?
What the fuck is up?
What the fuck is up, Bill? Specifically.
Specifically.
Yeah. What have you been up to since I saw you at Adepticon?
That's like the really cool part about it is I've seen you guys, and it hasn't
lot.
been a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the third time. I've seen you more than I see some of my other.
I was gonna say you're
It's true.
what 50 hours away in a car.
It's 50 hours of driving.
Yeah,
like
and I see you more than
5 or
people in
6
a
days.
town away.
It's true, but I mean, I could say the same thing too, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could say that.
Yeah.
Some could say that.
So what have you been doing?
I don't know. I've like been painting mechs and building mechs. And
You have for your game Mech 28,
Yes, for my game Mech 28.
which I hope we play after this.
That would be lovely.
I just painted it. I just primed a model.
I know. I saw.
I have to
That's
leave,
awesome.
but I prime it. It's here. Phil can play with it.
That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
Phil also has to leave.
Oh.
Am I being told to leave? Yeah.
Are you going to the show?
Oh, shit. You're coming too?
I mean, I bought a ticket.
Oh, you're
You know,
actually gonna go, Steve?
I have to go. Throughout the day, it gets closer and closer, and I don't want to go anymore. Being in a room with a bunch of people sounds really unappealing.
Yeah,
Well, you could always finish painting your mech there.
Oh, that's a good idea.
that's a good point.
In my car,
Yeah.
just waiting
the
for my
parking
friend
lot.
at the dentist.
Did you see that guy that goes to shows and he like oil paints the band playing while he's like in the pit?
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
I'll have to find it. Shout out
Right
to
now.
Siege Machine. Yeah,
I went to that record show last weekend, and there was a girl that was like sketching the bands while they were playing.
That's 10 times cooler than someone with a camera.
So this is
taking
like a
photos.
hardcore show. She's
Yes.
like getting like hit and like knocked around while she's
Just
doing
getting
it
blood
too.
on the
yeah,
page.
Just
yeah.
great sketches with just lines that go everywhere.
They weren't that good.
Oh, okay.
cool concept.
fuck
you
you.
sucked as an artist.
Her heart was in it.
Yeah, of
yeah.
course.
Witty, have you been doing anything more interesting than Bill? since we saw you?
I have been wrapping up Night Thirst stuff because that's all getting sent out. Oh, all right.
What's
I'll be
Night
right up in
Thirst?
it. Oh man, you guys are gonna make me play
Yeah,
my
yeah.
You
game.
can't say, well, you can't say it.
Well,
And
that's
then,
what I've been doing.
Listen,
but people, you got to think if the listener doesn't
That's
know.
true. That's true.
What,
They might not know.
what is
They
Night
probably
Thirst?
don't know.
Tell me what Night Thirst is.
Okay, so Night Thirst is
in
my,
6 words or less.
You know what?
No.
You've already used 3, so choose carefully.
Yeah. It's
You know what? It's vampires.
Oh,
Honestly,
let's go. All right. So yes, Night Thirst is
Yes.
sick. We're also going to play that after we record.
Yeah, we've been working on vamps.
We had a cool bashing session last night. That was the most painting I've done, or I mean, like productivity, I should say, I've done in a while, since Smash Bash probably. But it was, we all bashed vampires except Steve. He cheated.
I didn't cheat. I just have a lot of vampires already.
True. All right, and then we made civilians. We made stake agents. And we made bodyguard guys, guard guys, night guards,
Hired guns.
hired guns. There you go.
Yeah, that was the first time I've painted a mini, like put together a mini and painted it in the same day. I can't even remember the last time because I'm always doing them on stream. It takes me forever because I'm reading.
Yeah. The concepting, bashing, painting in one session is such a cool feeling, but it's like it takes so fucking much out of you.
Yeah, I don't do that.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys know what my miniature production is like. I will do like sort of like one layer, walk away from the desk, do something, look at my phone.
Doom scroll.
Oh yeah,
Doom
just
scroll.
like
He's ruined the
one like
computer.
infantry sized miniature
Island Boys.
generally takes me maybe like 4 hours over the course of like a week. That's like my typical like turnaround on.
You say typical, but you're on the up and up, bro.
It's true.
We're watching it
I'm
happen.
working on it. I'm
Your,
working on
your
it.
doom scrolling is up 100% and your productivity is up 100%.
I think
so-
it's
Yeah.
connected.
Maybe
Yeah, maybe that is.
more doom scrolling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More Island Boys content, more fight videos, and more painting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just everything at 100 mile an hour.
Yeah,
Not just
yeah.
one.
That's how we do it.
But without letting you out of the spotlight, what? is
Yeah, no,
your
we
game?
keep
Tell us your game.
interrupting. Yeah.
So Night Thirst is a tabletop miniatures battle royale game about vampires where you select what kind of vampire you want to be and then you're trying to out hunt each other because vampire society, they live forever. So you have, medieval vampires, you have ancient vampires, and then you have vampires that were turned like a year ago. And the one thing they all have in common is they drink blood. So it's kind of a thing that Vampire Society came up with is the Night Thirst. So it's the thing
so
that
it's
brings
like
them
a
all together.
game.
It's a game within a game. You're
Oh.
playing the Night Thirst when you're playing
in
Night
the
Thirst.
game.
It's like the Great Hunt or something like that.
If
like
you die
don't-
in the game, you die in real life.
that's
That's
kind of
true.
cool.
Yeah, you get staked.
Who
You
kills
said-
you in real life though when you lose?
Witty does.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She's
Nice.
her
Yeah.
passing through here. She's finding someone that died in the game.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
cool.
why I was in town.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's
You said
exhausting.
something cool that I wanted to spotlight on this the other day. You specifically said that you did not indulge in like Vampire the Masquerade or other like IPs so you could have a fresh idea.
Yeah. When I started writing the game, a lot of people asked which makes sense. They asked if I had played VTM before, and I never had. And I was curious because I was, watching a lot of vampire movies and calling it work and doing stuff like that. But I didn't want to look at any of the mechanics. I didn't want to look at any of the lore and accidentally find it bleeding into what I was doing. So
right.
getting to play a VTM one shot was kind of like my reward for getting it all done.
So would you say Night Thirst is not historically accurate then?
No, it is.
Oh, okay.
Historic.
To vampires.
Okay.
Well, I mean, the irony is that Vampire the Masquerade spawned so many movies. Like, I know I've said this before sometime on the pod, but Blade got in trouble for fucking stealing all of what's his name's art, Bradstreet's art. And then they put him on.
the likeness.
Yeah.
art.
Why am I blanking on this other movie with Kate Beckinsale?
Underworld?
Wonderworld. All of that storyline is entirely stolen from Vampire the Masquerade. But they do it in the fresh new ways, so
How old is Vampire the Masquerade?
old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's like early 80s or something.
Yeah.
But then there's like all the. It's funny that that's an issue because a lot of like early Japanese fantasy anime was all stolen from people's D&D campaigns.
Yes. Yeah. I mean,
Hey, we say all the time.
Yeah,
maybe not
steal.
on mic, but steal everything.
steal everything. What do you think has been the coolest part about making this game? Because this is your first
Yes.
game.
Yeah, this is my first game. I think the coolest part about it is probably, well, first off, like people telling me that they wanted to make a game after I did, being like, oh, like maybe I can do this too. But the coolest part of like actually like logistically making the game was it feels like a new language, like learning, because like I can think about lore and stories and things like that all day, but actually learning how to translate it into, you know, okay, so this is how I want this thing to feel. What does that look like in a game? Even though I feel kind of bad when people ask me questions because I'm like, I really don't know, because I didn't know it. I didn't know what I was doing at all going into it. And it was a lot of like learning as I went and being able to, you know, run ideas past people who did know what they were doing. But yeah, like learning the language of game writing and translating a feeling or like something that you would like to see happen into a game and being like, what does that even look like as a mechanic?
Right.
Yeah.
I really enjoy that part. Always. And I think from the opposite end of like learning a new game and being like, what were they thinking when they were trying to get this mechanic across? Why does this suck? Yeah, why does this suck so bad? What is the narrative response to why this mechanic exists? It's cool. Bill, now that you've immediately just taken a sip of your coffee, what Mech 28 is your first game, right?
Yeah, that's right.
How's the response for that been?
It's been really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Trent
What's the pitch on that? We skipped right over you.
Trent from Miscast pitches it to people, and then they download it, and then it.
Who's that?
I don't know.
I don't know that guy.
This New Zealander guy.
Yeah, he's from New Zealand, I think.
No, it's been really good. People seem to like it. We got to play it at Adepticon. I had some copies to give out to people, and like Uncle Adam gave it a shout out, which really helped push it to more people.
Yep.
Yeah, it's been really cool. There's already people like messaging me saying that they played it. They're using it to like introduce people into playing games, which is really cool. It's just been good. Like you have your game out there and people like it. It feels good.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
It's now available for download on 28 Mag also.
That's
Which is
true.
for
Yeah, that's
free.
recent.
Yeah.
For free.
Congrats.
Free.
Yep.
Imagine how different like tabletop gaming would be if everyone's introduction was through games where you only needed like one model,
Oh, yeah, dude.
as opposed to like
That's what I did to
buying
that
an
kid yesterday.
overwhelming collection.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have
Yeah.
to buy $2,000 worth of Warhammer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you talking about, you know, having it be a game that people are using to introduce people to games. I feel like something happens, I think, when it's your first game that you've ever written because you don't want to go super crazy with it. That makes it accessible like that. Like thinking about dice mechanics and stuff for Ninth or stuff, like it's just it's just a D20 because I didn't want to make it overly complicated. So a lot of people have like told me like this is the game that I'm using to introduce someone to a tabletop game like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there's like a lot of advantages for not really knowing how to make a game because I think sometimes people can fall into a thing. Like obviously experience is super helpful, but I think sometimes people kind of fall into a thing where they're like, this is the kind of game I make. And they just kind of like go to some default things.
Because this is the game that I play.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Versus like if you've never done it before, then there's like limitations that you just haven't put on yourself yet.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
a good point.
I think one of the things that we always do, like writing our own games, especially like Steve, you've got a game and everything too. Like we write these games that are really easy for people to just make up their own rules if they can't figure them out.
Yes.
Like there's a lot of stuff that's unwritten, which is you think about when you were playing games when you're like 13 years old, you didn't have the attention span to read that entire 40K or fantasy
No.
book anyway.
Neither do I
Yeah,
at 33.
Still
No,
don't.
so
Yeah.
Never.
you just made up the rules, right?
Right.
And like all these indie games that are coming now, they kind of have that built in. Like we're just going to read. I mean, even if it's a 2-page rule book, people will still infer make their own rules and
Right.
make it playable for them.
Which we saw live at Adepticon. Well, I mean, more of a hack, but with the New Zealander guy. What was
Yeah,
his name again? Trey?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Trevor?
Trent.
Yeah.
Yeah, Trent. Yeah, Trent, yeah.
Is that his name?
That's it.
I think so.
I think so. Yeah. That's
He,
That sounds right.
So he did, what was it? What was their game?
So he was playing Mech 28, and it's now becoming Hex 28, which is giant walking wizard houses with wizards, and it's pretty cool. But it's
Oh,
That's
What
normal.
That's fine.
normal?
That's normal.
Don't worry
That's the ghost.
that's the ghost.
The lights went out.
it was Trent. We love you, Trent.
That's the interference. He was coming in. Yeah. Yeah, it's cool to see that developing, and like Trent's projects are always so cool. Like so much cool art, and Elle's art is amazing too. And I'm really excited to see what they do with it, like running with that idea of just a simple game.
Yeah, I mean, even just conceptually, that's a fucking cool ass idea.
It is a cool idea. Yeah. I'm kind of wish I'd stolen that idea.
Listen, hit him with a cease and desist and make your own.
That's true. Yeah.
Just take what he did and
Yeah.
slap the cease and desist
Yeah.
on his.
Yeah, I'm just gonna make a Necromancer game.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, I got the mausoleum
Yeah.
that walks already. We're
There
already
you go.
ahead of the curve.
Walking mausoleums,
Yeah.
Necromancers. Yeah.
I think one of the coolest things about making a game is seeing what people do to it
Yeah.
and like change it. Like, have you ran into that with Flames? Like, have people changed things that you're like, yep, that's great.
No, people make like scenarios and stuff.
I would say
that's
aesthetically too. People are pushing.
no one looks at the art in the book and
Yeah.
says, "I'm going to make that."
Right.
I know Tanner, he was pretty accurate to the book.
Oh yeah.
I think so.
Tanner's art was it was like 1-for-1 copy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out Simso Miniatures.
Yeah, shout out Simso Miniatures.
If anybody's known for technical, like mechanical,
Following the guidelines
Yes.
as they are, reading the rule book,
Yeah.
and
I think more for Flames, it was people not like hacking the game, but like doing all of the like number crunching as far as like loadouts
Oh,
for
yeah.
robots.
what
And-
is the most optimal performance?
Oh, yeah.
And I was just like, dude, I do not care.
that was my favorite thing about playing Mech 28 with Tyler from $1 Billion Clown Farm.
Yeah.
Just immediately found like
Yeah, he broke your game.
he broke the
immediately.
game
He
immediately.
He brought the competitive guy in.
Yeah.
His
But it-
brain is wired for it.
Oh, and you could tell because like nobody's played the game, and you're handing out rules books and stuff, and then there's this guy who's just sitting in the corner like going through it, and you can see him flicking through the pages and stuff, and then every now and then he asks you a question, and everybody else is like, "How do I do this?" What
You
do
had
I-"
fear in your heart when he asked you a
Oh,
question.
I kind of knew what was happening, and then like he builds this loadout. He takes control of his part of the board. He asks me one question, and like my brain froze for 30 seconds and went, "Yeah, no, you broke the game. I totally didn't think about this."
He was so like into it, like competitive though, that he was like telling other people too, like you could do this, and
Yeah, yeah. He picked.
he could have just run the whole table, like
He
all
could
his
have.
mechs.
Yeah, it was great though. But he also had like a great time and really enjoyed playing it.
Yeah, he's a sweetie.
Yeah,
He is.
We have
and lots of great feedback too.
we have a physicist in our friend circle, and he's quite similar with.
He's my math guy.
Yeah.
It's crunchy.
He goes through the book and goes, "So you would never take this option? You will take this option?" And we're like, "I don't know, man. That one's kind of cool."
Yeah. It's funny the difference in game design where it's like that. Like I'm writing the game and just in my head imagining these robots and like what they're gonna do, and oh, it'd be super cool if there was like a rocket launcher or like a thermal lance weapon and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And you write it all in, and then like nobody will ever make that loadout. It's like you were talking about with the art and stuff like that. Like you have a vision of it, and then everybody just does their own thing with it, which is really cool because it comes up with ideas and stuff that you wouldn't have thought about. Trent was great for that in early development because I was like, I want to do a Titanfall game. And then he goes, well, why don't you just put like D66 tables and use Warhammer templates? I'm like, actually, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, okay. We early on, before Flames was like semi-public, Steve put in a thermocore. What was it? Your heat is higher than 10,
Yeah.
and then you also had a detonator.
Oh, are you thinking like when your heat would go to 10 automatically when you blew up?
Yes.
But then you could make your mech blow up with another thing?
Yes.
Yeah, that's still there.
No, I understand that. So immediately though, like, I don't know, the game's like in our friend circle at that point for like 2 months, and I'm like, I'm making a suicide bomber mech. That is all I want. Every iteration of the game being like updated and put out there, I've seen people going, "Ooh, this is the thing. I'm making a suicide bomber."
Yeah.
Like,
I think I did that.
Yeah.
You did.
Okay, so there's four mechs on the table. If I blow all of them up,
yeah,
do I win?
The winner.
yeah.
That was great. I feel like both games I played, everyone was just blowing each other up, and I was just in and out. Like,
Yeah.
you guys have fun over there.
That's what happens every game.
You
Yeah.
were
Every
the,
game blows up.
You were the Tyler of
Yeah,
of
yeah.
Orion at Nemo.
Yeah, big
Is that
brain.
what
And
you
that's-
did to your game?
and that's
You
why
just
I'm the
ran
world
away?
champion.
And that's why you're the world champion.
He just immediately won.
Oh.
Well, not immediately, but like figured out how to win and
Yeah.
actually won rather than I'm just going to be a shithead and blow everybody's robots up.
Oh, all right. Nice.
So, Bill, with Titanfall, was it about Titanfall that you wanted to capture the most in Mech 28? just cool ass mechs falling from cooler ships.
Yeah, like I I mean, that is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, Titanfall is like that aesthetic of mechs and fighting robots and stuff like that. It's always been my favorite. Like Gundams are cool. You know, giant Voltron style robots are cool. Pacific Rim
Titanfall is so different aesthetically than.
It's like armature GI Joe robots.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, I really liked the first game. I admittedly haven't played too much of the second one, but it was such a different vibe of like where Gundam is like, okay, here's this like thing we've sunk all of our resources into, and it's like this holy thing. Titanfall's like, this is just like a fucking tank. Just go out there and fight. Like, yeah.
And I mean, like Titanfall, there's certain things in Titanfall that aren't in Mech 28 because I just kind of like scrapped that idea and just went with the robot side of it. Like all the parkour stuff and the way that they balanced combat between mechs and the soldiers, but then it also like
parkour in that game.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, there's lots of
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Do the robots parkour?
No.
Oh.
That's
No,
like
you do
your
while you're
balance.
You get out of your robot and do parkour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Oh
you
my goodness.
parkour onto other robots and like pull the batteries out and throw grenades into them and
Yeah.
stuff. And blow
Oh
them
my
up.
goodness.
I've never played this game. So
it's
I don't
wicked.
know.
It's
But I was
awesome.
talking about parkouring while you play Mech 28. Like I was talking about that's part of it.
That's
yeah.
part
Yeah.
of it too.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah, like other games have macros and stuff like that to win. This game, it's like, no, you have to do a wall run and then hit the
Yeah,
eject.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, well, how can we one up the corn player screaming in the tabletop shop?
Yeah,
Yeah, making the player parkour in the tabletop shop.
I'm surprised we didn't get kicked out playing Pokemech, but yeah.
We could, well, yeah. Yeah, Titanfall just kind of had like that balance thing that I find that isn't in a lot of games, like old arena shooters and stuff, where like, you know, you run around, you get shot, you respawn, you shoot a dude, that kind of stuff. Like it's a fast game.
Right.
So that was kind of one of the things that got carried over into Mech, is that it's a pretty quick game. Like I've done play tests where we did 3 games in an hour and a half and stuff like that. So it's fairly fast, and then that developed into like copying the arena shooters style thing and seeing if you can do that in a game where it's like there's only 4 models on the table. You wipe them out quick, you just start another game.
Right.
So there's some stuff that got dropped out of it that like I got rid of the idea of having pilots as well. So it's just mechs, and then expanded it. So it's like, oh, it doesn't have to be one specific kind of mech. Like you can build monsters, you could put a Gundam on the table, whatever you want.
Right.
Because kit bashing is awesome. And there's like, no offense, Steve, there's lots of little miniature mech games, but there's not a lot of like large ones. And so it's like, oh,
Right.
people can build cool big robots and
Right.
stuff like that.
I mean, it's funny you say no offense because I know you would never mean it that way.
Oh, no, absolutely.
But I feel like with Flames also, that was the whole reason of being like, yeah, Battletech minis are cool, but I want to fucking make my own.
Yeah.
Like,
I never would have bought Battletech scale miniatures.
I also want to use them.
Yeah.
Like they are cool models.
Yeah,
Like, I want to buy these and paint them, but I don't really want to play BattleTech.
right.
No, and I had no interest in playing Battletech. I mean, I didn't even really have interest in that scale of miniature.
Yeah.
Until I started doing your stuff, and then like Anna, like Garden of Hecate, those miniatures are just so cool, and they scream to be kit bashed. So
Yeah.
all of a sudden, it opened up this thing. Oh, I can make cool things in this scale, and then there's this cool game that I can play with it. That's not going to require me to spend, you know, a 40K level of involvement to figure out.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure it's a great game and everything too.
It is a good game. BattleTech is fun.
But it also has those hex maps, and I can't stand hex maps.
A flat
Really?
board.
Oh, I know. Anything that like when you build the
Hot
terrain.
takes only here.
Yeah. This is for the Patreon, right?
Yeah.
You have to pay for these opinions.
Yeah.
No, like the hex thing, like I never liked building terrain that had restrictions on things like D&D grids and stuff. When I played D&D, grids were out. Like it was all measuring. So
Yeah.
there's no visual interference with what you're looking at.
See, we've only ever played BattleTech with the flat map.
Oh, really?
No terrain.
I
It's
can't-
just the level
I
it
hate
is on the map.
How sterile like a game of BattleTech looks.
Can't
Yeah.
play games like that. Like if it's going to have terrain, then the terrain has to be there. Like it doesn't
It
have
has
to be
the same.
Yeah. Like I'm a very visual person. Like
If you're gonna put like love into like a model and making a model look cool, like why do you want to play on a fucking flat piece of paper? You know,
It's like D&D was the same thing. Like I would rather have little blocks of wood that are painted black that represent things on the board rather than have a whiteboard and dry erase markers.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think that you're going to expand on the rule set with anything specifically, or like a narrative campaign style, or are you going to release like zines to do like events or anything like that?
I'd like to develop some scenarios and things more. Like, I feel like right now the game is kind of in like its Unreal era, and I want to be able to bring it into its Unreal Tournament era. And like,
That's fair.
make it not competitive, but make
I mean,
it.
they just canceled Unreal Tournament, but you know,
Did they?
yeah, it's still
Done.
Oh, like they canceled the French. I thought maybe they did something.
no, they're just not producing tournament anymore.
Oh yeah, no, I
Yeah.
kind of figured that.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't played an Unreal game since like 2000, like Unreal Tournament 2004.
Four,
I think was
yeah,
the last
yeah.
one.
We'll get into that.
Yeah.
Don't worry. You keep
Yeah.
teasing me with that topic. We'll get to that.
No, I want to do more. Like, I'd really love to be able to build a version of the game that kind of has like an arena style play to it, where it's like your mech can get destroyed, but then it comes in the next round. You know, so that it has that kind of like a shooter FPS arena shooter kind of thing.
Respawning
Where,
and
where it's like, rather than being like, oh, we're going to play until mechs are destroyed, you go, no, we're going to play until like a certain kill.
The objective is obtained.
Yeah, an objective, like a capture the flag game, and still like try to avoid the little circles on the map thing that 40K has turned into.
yeah.
You know, have it so it's like capture the flag, like team deathmatch, capture the flag.
That's sick.
Right.
That kind of stuff. Maybe even like figure out some rules for like little power up things, you know, so you can pick up extra.
That'd be
armor.
sick. Yeah.
I'm still waiting for the Fortnite Battle Royale tabletop game.
No, stop.
Yes.
Stop.
I want it. I want all the pickups on the map to be random table generated weapons, and everyone's running around scrambling to grab them.
There was a game called Frag by I don't remember. It's a board game, but it has those kind of rules.
Really?
It's not the best.
Okay, well, scrap that idea.
Yeah. We could
Maybe that game's just bad.
it could be. I have it. We'll bring it in. We'll
No, I don't want to
We'll
play
tear it
so I'm
apart.
gonna make my own.
Yeah, we'll make a Fortnite game. Witty, are you going to do any like Night Thirst event style things? Are you gonna have meetups / infuse Pokemon into your game like Bill did?
Yeah, blood sucking Pokemon.
Yeah.
I'd like to, especially, you know, it was interesting timing with Adepticon being able to demo it, but not physically having the game out.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting next year. I mean, Adepticon will be interesting next year for a lot of reasons.
Yeah,
but,
that's for sure.
But I would like to do an event with it next year.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to ask was, so I know in Night Thirst we have all sorts of different like vampire archetypes are represented. What sort of vampire media was like your biggest inspiration for the game? Like, did you already have stuff? I know you said that you were like, you know, like watching stuff like as you were working on it, but like, did you already have like sort of a lot of things in mind before you started?
Yeah. I had started with one of the ideas was thinking about like the ancient ones, like those vampires was kind of like a Queen of the Dam inspired thing, thinking about like Akasha and like those like original vampires. Because to me, like thinking about like if there was like a tiered vampire society, like that's where it would all start, and thinking about that. But a lot of it was just it was fun exercise and sitting and going, you know, kind of like looking back through like what is all the vampire media that I have like consumed over the years, and what have I not checked out yet, and sort of incorporating like all those different kinds, because like the partiers are like, you know, a nod to Lost Boy vampires, and the noble is very like Bram Stoker's Dracula and that kind of thing, and then, you know, the prowler's getting in like a more like monstrous kind of almost like the strain type of thing. So kind of all
That's
of it.
my favorite kind.
Really nasty ones.
Yeah.
Nasty
Yeah.
boy Phil.
Nasty boy.
Nasty guy.
Now, have you since, because I know you were talking about VTM, have you since like went and looked into the VTM world?
Yep, I
And,
got
like-
to play for the first time after finishing everything up.
Oh, cool.
What clan were you?
I just forgot the name of it. It's
I watched the intro of that stream, and were you were Toreador?
Yes, thank
Yeah,
you. Yep,
yeah.
it's that. That's the name. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it's all right.
Yeah.
It's no Bruja.
Well,
Yeah, you'd be a fucking Bruja.
I took a quiz to see like what VTM clan are you, and it said Ministry.
Yeah, no, you're not.
No.
No.
Okay.
No, playing
Yeah.
playing VTM. I was playing with my friend Emmeline, and our characters were like intertwined, and that was what her character was, a Toreador. So I was like, perfect. I'll be that, and I'll
Right.
just sort of
Yeah,
learn the
riff
ropes.
off of your vibe as well. Yeah. That's cool. I really like Vampire the Masquerade. I would love to get these guys to play.
Yeah.
Why are you saying?
I've
like
literally
that?
been saying I want.
I've played it.
Let's
play
stop right now.
right
Yeah,
now.
let's go.
No,
I'll
I
get my
just want to
shit.
play
Holyoke by
a-
night, motherfucker.
Let's go.
an
We're not doing
RPG
it.
in general.
We're not doing it in Holyoke if we had to pick.
No, we'll play.
I still have Hartford by night written
Okay, well, why are we playing in Hartford?
because it's cooler than Holyoke.
No, it's fucking not.
This is very relevant information to everyone listening, including everyone at the table.
No. So, yeah. No.
Now, Witty, before I bore you for the next 20 minutes while Bill and I talk about first-person shooters,
I've never played
I'm
one.
gonna go home.
Not once.
you've never played one, not once. That's
No.
a fucking lie. You stream.
Yeah.
Do you? How do you pick what games you play for stream? Just what's hot, what's trending, what's cool?
No.
I message her
Make the
and
community
I say,
decide?
play this game with me.
Yeah.
And then she ignores me.
Yeah.
You-
And then I leave them on red.
Like you planted her into the industry.
Yeah.
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 That makes sense.
Yeah, I pick games just the way that I pick kind of everything that I do on stream. Like I, from the beginning, have been a variety streamer because I don't want to get bored and I don't
Yeah.
want to do anything that I don't feel like. So a lot of times I've picked games that I've just been meaning to get to, but I haven't sit still long enough. Like we played through Red Dead Redemption 2. We're playing through Mass Effect. We've played a lot of games, Dead Space, and it's just games that I've been meaning to get to. So it really changes.
Right.
Sometimes I'll use it as an excuse to try out like a new game.
You ever pick a game and then just immediately regret, just like this is a terrible game to be
Yeah.
streaming?
Yeah, I remember playing Outlast, and I was like, I wish I didn't do this.
you were
This is-
scared.
This is going to be a lot
Yeah,
of
'cause
this.
you're a scared little guy.
I kept crying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's scary.
It was really, really scary.
It's willy scary. Is that the
Willy-
one that starts in the first scary encounter you have is like a guy with a chainsaw and you're
In
just
the
like hiding?
basement?
Yeah. Yeah, I got to that guy and I turned it off and I said I'm
You
not
too
fine.
scared?
Yeah.
I can't do horror
It's
games
not
at
fun.
all.
I am.
Really?
Yeah.
yeah.
I scream so loud that I am not allowed to play them at home. I'm a jumpy little guy.
I went. I've played a handful, like playing Dead Space on stream, playing Alien Isolation, and
Alien Isolation is a fucking terrifying game.
Do you play it with
scary.
the mic
yeah,
bullshit where if you make any noise the alien hears you?
yeah,
No,
I'm
I
good.
can't do that shit.
yeah.
Which is especially funny because you're streaming and you
I'm
have
talking
Yeah.
constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The alien's right there.
Thank you so much for the donation. Now, Bill,
yes.
you and I fell in love originally.
We should move a little closer for this.
Yes, we should embrace each other.
I feel like one of us needs to be sitting in the other one's lap.
Now, you are an old Half-Life head, as am I.
Yes.
The engine. we
Yes,
should
the
say.
engine
Yes.
specifically, yeah.
Counter-Strike, was that your game? Was that your first foray?
I can specifically remember the first time I went to a LAN center and played Counter-Strike with my friends.
Were LAN centers... So
This wasn't in Canada.
Okay, I was going to say in America, LAN centers were still a little late to the curve of like LAN hype, but they were still cool as hell.
That was a thing when I was little. Going to
Yeah.
the mall and you'd see all the older kids playing in a LAN center. And
Right.
Oh yeah.
Your mom doesn't want to shill out $10 for you to go play for an hour.
I was going to say the pricing scheme was always insane, and especially there'd be the ones that didn't have. You would get there and you'd pay the money, or your parents would pay the money, so you'd get to sit down at a computer, and they wouldn't have any games installed. You'd have to log into your own Steam account or your own.
Oh, this was like, I don't want to say it was like pre-Steam, but I remember like it being on the computers and we just, because I was
Yep.
like 13. Or
Yeah,
something.
and then everyone's sharing a disc to install games, and yeah.
Yeah.
CD
LAN
key
centers
crackers with the craziest music on the CD key gens.
Yeah. Yeah, I can remember going to the LAN centers to play because we only did it a couple of times, and like we were 13 years old and we would come in, and there would always be like one dude who had been there for like 4 hours and was just like bitter about having to play against 13-year-olds.
Yeah.
but also like
There's no one else to play with.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
because like most people didn't really have good internet either, right?
Right.
But yeah. Yeah, Counter-Strike was definitely one of the first ones. I remember it was like, this is a different game. Like, this is
Yeah,
cool. Thing, you know,
right.
because it wasn't a story game. It wasn't
Yeah,
Quake. It wasn't any of those kind of things.
right.
You're playing with other people.
Yeah.
That isn't just 3 people sitting on a couch together.
That's right. Yeah. It's different from split screen, like GoldenEye. Yeah.
The So me and my best friend growing up were part of the Land Party Association of New England, and it would kind of move from like a couple of different warehouse spaces before it went to like Intel's manufacturing facility, which is like half hour from here. The big LAN events would be like 80 plus people, and where did you learn? What LAN centers were you in? Were you in the States?
No, this was when I went back to the UK.
Okay.
To visit friends and stuff like that. So it was just like one small one. It was one of those like arcade places where they had like a laser tag and stuff like that too. We'd never had any LAN stuff, like LAN centers where I lived, because it's in the middle of nowhere. We used to do like weekend LAN parties at friends' houses and stuff.
Yeah.
We did host a big LAN party once where we rented the hockey arena during the summer and
That's
like
so sick.
filled it with tables. And like, I
So
remember
cool.
spending a week building Ethernet cables with everybody. And then like the store sold those Ethernet cables. And I remember working at the store and cutting them up like years later.
Yeah,
to sell
yeah.
them, because like nobody wants to buy a 200-foot long
Right,
Ethernet
right,
cable.
right.
That one dude doing a LAN party once.
Yeah, yeah.
That's it.
So like because the guy who set it up was like had the computer store, and we just had like rolls of Ethernet cable,
Yep,
cutting and
yep.
making cables. I think I still remember how to do that.
Yep. Because that was before all the crimpers were real easy to do by hand.
Yeah, you had to do it by hand. But yeah, we set that up, and I can't remember how many people we had. Like I remember we had a Counter-Strike tournament, and like some kids from another town came in and just destroyed everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
But like we just played games, and we had like a couch so that people who didn't have a computer could come and play Xbox or something like
yeah,
that.
yeah. The lesser folk.
Yeah.
The
But it was cool. It was like half of a hockey arena, a small town hockey arena
That's so
full
sick.
of nerds.
the culture, the LAN culture at the time for us was like Ball's energy drink.
Oh yeah, that LAN party, we decided at 3:00 in the morning that we wanted to go get bottles of balls, and
Yep.
we drove an hour to another town to do it, and just did that and came back because we were like 18-year-olds.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What else is cooler at that time? Yeah. Yeah, Ball's energy drinks ran supreme. It was like Chewy bars and Oreos was like all you would eat.
Yeah. You'd pass out at your computer.
You'd pass out at your computer. All the ones that I ever went to, the policies would specifically state it was like okay to sleep at your computer. Like,
because otherwise you wouldn't.
yeah, exactly. Like it, they were never like, oh, don't forget to sleep and drink water. It was like, just sleep at your computer. It's fine.
Yeah.
This sounds so deranged to me.
Yeah,
It is
Imagine
very
like DreamHack though, like where there's hundreds of computers.
Have
Like,
you
I wouldn't
seen-
leave my computer.
I gotta find the photos of the Intel one we did. It was otherworldly.
I remember some of those pictures came up like in an Instagram thing, right? Where it's like, 2003, this LAN
Where
thing. And it's
they
just,
look like it almost looks like factory farmed chickens, but it's
Yes.
just like shirtless, like
CRT
tween
monitor.
boys in front of like.
You can smell the photo.
Oh
looking
yeah,
at it.
Oh, yeah.
It's,
And there's
Yeah.
like you're looking through the photo and you can see who the coolest dude is because he had like a few crappy LEDs
Yep.
in
Yep.
his computer.
Do you remember the
case.
old cold
Yeah.
cathode kits you would have to buy?
Yes.
The
Yes.
sticks that were like 2 feet
Yes.
long, and you're just like jamming it with
Yeah.
double-sided tape in your computer.
Yeah, I can remember like cutting a window out of the like my case and
Yep.
spray painting it black
Yep.
because you just couldn't
Yeah.
get any of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
I did that with my Xbox controller that I would like do shit with, like go to like LAN parties and stuff with, and it ruined the controller.
Yeah, of course, of course. So, I mean, Counter-Strike, it was 1.3 and then 1.6 engine, but specifically like Half-Life modding is what I don't even remember who mentioned it, but you and I were talking about just very specific
I think it was
Half-Life
that game Out of Action that's coming out and how it's
Yep.
like feels similar.
to the Specialists.
Yes,
And the Specialist was, I've showed you a couple times, Steve, but it was like Matrix fight scenes as a game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
you are
insane.
to this day the only other person I know who has played that game.
Dude, it's
The
still
random
so
guy
sick.
at Dungeon Siege.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Steve says it all the time where it's like you could walk by people and have no idea that like this was Poner X1337 that
Yeah.
you played with your whole life. Like, especially like it's funny too because when you're younger and you like join these servers, you don't realize that like they were regionally based anyway. So like you're playing on US East, and if it's popular in your area, it's probably a kid in your town, never realizing that you've been just playing with your neighbor this whole time. But that is just such a different era of living. I don't know. Like, I kind of get that feeling with like our Adepticon crew, like meeting you guys, and then like Trent, Jamie Daggers, everyone like that. Like our New England War Council now going. It feels like a niche community within a community, where I feel like LAN was always like that as well.
Yeah. Well, like with the modding and stuff like that, the modding scene was really cool because it, somebody would create a couple of dudes would make a game like the Specialists.
Yep.
And then the forum would have people making their own models. So the Specialist was kind of like the John Woo Gun Fu stuff.
Yes.
Because there was another game that was similar that was more like John Woo style. I can't remember what it was now. But like the Specialist was cool because I remember that had Matrix stuff. It had Gun Fu. It had people were making models for just about every movie character. Like I remember having like what was that? There was like that Mel Gibson gangster movie that's based off Yojimbo.
What?
Yeah, I don't know. What?
Mel Gibson gangster?
No, sorry, not Mel Gibson. Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis as a
That was a Gauge level fuck up, just so you know.
No, I do this all the time.
I
Man.
know the movie you're talking about. The cover of it is him with like two guns.
Yeah,
like,
he runs around with two 1911s.
Yes,
which
yeah.
is like the classic.
Damn, I need to watch this movie now.
Yeah, it's basically Yojimbo, but it's Bruce
Yeah,
Willis
that's
in
sick.
like some border ghost town somewhere.
You can watch it after we all play VTM.
Once I
there we
remember
go.
the name of it.
Yeah.
looking it up.
Yeah, but yeah, it had,
I can envision the cover. It's killing.
but I remember like there was a model of that, and then there was like people who were messing with it, and like I started modding stuff like that, like
Yep.
redrawing skins and stuff like
Yep.
that, because it was so.
I always
wasn't-
played the Max Payne skin in the Specialists.
Yeah, like Max Payne.
The
I
real
used-
square face where he's like
Yes.
angry looking. Yeah.
like for a long time, like I played the Spike Spiegel model that somebody
Yep,
put out. Yeah, but like you had that, and people just did what they wanted with it, and it required a certain level of you had to figure out kind of how to do it. But
Yeah.
At the same time, like you could just load a skin into Photoshop and mess with
right.
it.
Well,
And
it's the
then-
same era of like MySpace layouts.
I was just
Yes.
about to say
Yeah.
everyone learning how to code.
yeah.
Everybody knew a little bit of HTML.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. I just want to hide my profile song so nobody steals it. And
Yes.
then like,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Last man standing.
That's it. Last man standing.
damn, I gotta watch that movie.
It's a really good movie.
There's a scene of him in a bathtub, just like
Yes.
being real weird.
Yeah, it's a weird movie, but like it's great, especially when you realize that it's basically just Yojimbo. But I think it's Yojimbo. I'm probably going to get canceled for that one.
Yeah,
too.
probably.
Yeah,
We're
I'll say
the
Akira-
platform to cancel
I'll say
people
Akira
for sure.
Kurosawa wrong.
It's kind of
Yeah,
been the
yeah,
theme of
yeah.
this weekend.
Yeah, we've canceled everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I almost
Yeah.
said like Seven Samurai, and then I totally would have got canceled.
No, that'd be a Gauge level fuck up. It's okay. You can't top me.
But you're talking about like it's similar to this community, like this kind of a community thing, and I think it is because like people would just take stuff and make stuff and get
Yep.
what they wanted out of it.
Right.
It's like we have like Games Workshop models, but we're not playing Games Workshop. They
Right,
had the Half-Life
exactly.
engine; they weren't playing Half-Life.
Exactly.
And we just make what we want and we do what we want, and it's great.
Yep. I a lot of like you just said, a lot of those games in that period too, where it was like you would have a game that would come out like Unreal Tournament. Mm-hmm. Unreal Tournament 2K4 would come out. Everyone's playing USS Torlin or whatever that map was, and then
It's a good map.
it's a great map. But people were like, I prefer this engine to this, but I want this style. Like
yeah.
parkour maps were getting popular in Half-Life
Yeah.
and like Surf in Counter-Strike. So then they started doing Hellbender Race in Unreal Tournament. And it was like you said, it's these pockets of like, well, I kind of like the 40K style of gaming, but I want to add these mechanics. And like,
Yeah.
you walk into a different room at Adepticon and people are just hacking whatever the hell they want.
Yeah, it was really cool that era too, because like I don't know if you really see. I guess you kind of see it a little bit with kind of like Helldivers and like the community involvement with Helldivers.
Mm-hmm.
But like with Unreal Tournament, Cliffy B had a website where he
Yep.
regularly posted user maps, like
Right.
his best of the week user maps.
Yep.
And
Which
that
is
was
sick.
that's so
That
cool.
site and
that, like,
FPS Banana were like the two most
Yeah.
visited sites for me, and ModDB,
yeah.
of course.
I mean,
but-
it would be so cool if somebody at obviously not Games Workshop, but
Yeah.
if somebody
Remember
at
when
Games,
they did do that though?
yes,
Like White Dwarf would post like, here is a community made.
event with these new rules.
Yeah.
and- yeah.
Well, they did. I remember, what were they? The Orc Hunters?
The Catachan
Oh,
guys?
yeah.
The Catachan Orc Hunters.
Armageddon, or it wasn't Armageddon specific.
Yeah, it was
but-
Armageddon Orc
It was
Hunters.
it was
Yeah.
during the Armageddon campaign.
Yeah.
And they were like given like some specialist rules, and like all you had to do was glue like orc arms or like orc
trophies.
weapons to a guy.
Yeah, but it would just be so cool. Like, because Andy Chambers kind of used to do that with
Yeah.
chapter approved and stuff like that, right? Where it was like, here's some like unofficial stuff. It's cool. We're going to highlight some other people's stuff. Like,
Right.
That
Yeah.
kind of thing is so good for the community, I think.
But so I think what the problem is when you base it around like Games Workshops, like 40K or whatever, there's so much emphasis put around like, well, can I play this in a tournament? Even though you're never
Yeah.
going to play
Yeah.
in a tournament, like none of us are going to go play in a tournament, but it's like we still have that hesitation of like, well,
Yes.
can I use this in everything I want to do? And it's like,
no.
who gives a shit?
No, like I remember the coolest chapter approved article that I can remember is the original Kroot only Tau army.
Yep.
Like when Andy Chambers had those rules where it's like, here's how you do a just specifically Kroot army. You can use these like all this different equipment from them having like
The
contract.
force org changed and
Yeah, and
everything.
like these are the weapons they can have because they've done contract work, like PMC style contract work
Yeah.
for Imperial Army, so they can have a plasma gun and stuff. And it just says like you can't use this without like it used to say you can't use this without your opponent's permission.
Yeah.
That used to be the golden rule in Games Workshop stuff. You can't use this without, like, even characters were like that. I can't field this Blood Angels character unless my opponent agrees to it. You know, they should just put that rule back in there.
They should. They never will.
No.
Just let your opponent write your army list for you.
Yeah. I bet someone
It's
has.
a slippery slope, Bill.
I was
See
gonna
how
say, I
big
bet
of a
someone has
shithead
said
they
that
are.
seriously in a comment section.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just let my opponent fucking write my list then.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys talk
Phil,
about that.
you can
just
write mine.
Makes me
Yeah.
think about how I can't remember the name of it exactly, but I have like an old GW terrain book, and it's talking about like using garbage and going to your hardware store.
The
and-
blue cover one.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they don't show. They show you steps A, C, and then Z. They don't show you anything in between.
I think I have that book right over there. But yeah, the infamous cactus thing. It's like the green
Oh, yeah.
ball with the red toothpicks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks so good.
Yeah. We should make that terrain real quick before we play your game after this.
Let's put it on the Night Thirst board.
Yeah.
I can't remember where I heard it, but like it was something to the line of like those books were all bullshit anyway because the people that were doing all the training were like, yeah, I mean, like
They had to kind of cater it towards Games Workshop products and things that people could get. Like, that's the
Yeah.
history of Games
Well, yeah. I
Workshop.
mean, it's not like you're telling me that every Games Workshop article and White Dwarf and everything was all GW paints, even though all these new paints were
That's
coming
what I'm
out.
saying.
Yeah, it's like
Right.
no fucking way.
or like yeah, exactly that.
You know what was cool about going to Boyle? Was that they had those cactus ball things and people were playing second
Really?
edition.
That's sick.
And it was, yeah, it's so cool. It's like
That's-
a little,
Were they dangerous terrain?
Were they the original ones?
Yeah.
I don't think so, but the
This
thing with,
toothpick is from
The pictures
1979.
from Boyle are very funny to me.
yeah, they are awesome because it's like
Adams.
looking at pages of like White Dwarf magazines, but without like the crappy. We had to take these pictures in film and then scan them into like a
Yeah,
really old
yeah.
computer and then print it at like 10. Like just it doesn't have that nostalgia filter. But
Yeah.
you're looking at it and like, man, this is cool.
It does have the old people filter though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's about 30 years old.
Is Boyle cool? Was Boyle cool?
Boyle is cool. Yeah.
Would you go again?
I would go again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really interesting because it's like, it's not like going to Adepticon or going to
Yeah,
a convention.
yeah.
It's like halfway between going to like a country fair because of the way it's set up under tents in a courtyard.
Yep.
But it's cool. Like you can go with the it's very cool for the nostalgia and being able to see things from old magazines like really, really early Games Workshop stuff.
Right,
Like
right.
cabinets are just full and you can look and you're like, we've all seen certain conversions that were featured in heavy metal magazines from, I don't know, like, oh, sorry, the heavy metal side of like White Dwarf magazines from like the late 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Like weird, like there's that Zinch champion that has like the pink horror arms that are all super stretched out.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
all painted,
And it's all painted and it's there.
What time of year is that event?
It's usually, is it August, I think?
Yeah, it's in the summer,
it's the
and it's
summertime.
at
Yeah.
Foundry.
Yeah, and I think it's at Foundry again this year.
Well, they moved, right?
Well, I think I don't know the whole story behind it, but what I understand is that they sold the hall, like there was like an estate,
Like
right?
the Foundry,
like the
the
Ansel.
castle.
the Ansel estate. They sold the hall, but I think Foundry is still run out of like the buildings that it was in. Because there's kind of like I think it used to be old stables or something.
It's an
like
old
that.
fort. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a crazy place.
Yeah, it's an estate.
And the tent is in the middle of the courtyard.
Yeah, I think it was stables. Like it kind of looks like stables, but yeah, it's like an old English estate.
Yeah.
And I believe what they did is they sold the hall that's on the estate, and then Foundry is still in those buildings. But then I don't know. I don't know all the story. That's what it was like then. Like they just kind of sold the hall, and then there was with Brian passing away and stuff like that too. They weren't sure if it was going to go on because last year they were saying like this might be the last one, so they had a huge turnout.
Yeah.
And everything for it. So hopefully it's...
Why would it be their last one?
Because Brian was so sick.
Oh, yeah.
And they weren't sure. Like the family wasn't sure what they were going to do with it. Because his wife has been running it mostly.
Right. I was going to say, like, I can't imagine the interest would die down. No pun intended. But
no. I mean, like the joke is that everybody goes there so they can meet everybody before they die kind of thing, which is grim. But I mean, I don't think that'll happen.
It's truly grim and dark.
True. Yeah. On brand. But I don't think it will because there's so many people that are interested in it. And
right.
Yeah, you go there and it's, it's a older crowd, quotations.
Right,
but
right.
Like the oldest, it's not that old. It's like people in their 30s and 40s and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So they are my age.
So
Yeah, they're our age. And there's maybe a couple of kids who are like excited about stuff, but I don't think it'll die. Like I think people will be, it's that nostalgia wheel, right? Like people are going to get more interested in it. People are going to be interested in 80s games. Like 16-year-olds are going to want something cool and edgy.
We see it all the time. Like in the Discord, people are like, this old Hammer model sucks. And then a week later, someone posts the same model and then like, does anyone have this model?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
What happened to what's going on here?
Yeah. Like we're hitting that point where like it's the wheel is coming around and all that stuff is being cool. Mm-hmm. And I think people are always going to be interested in it. And if they don't do Boyle, they'll do it somewhere else.
Plastic multi-part sucks. Single model, don't have to do anything. That's cool.
Monopose pewter.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Phil is looking in disgust.
I love pewter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I it's something I can pin together.
That's true.
I love pinning.
I love painting.
The model won't break except at, like the joints.
Yeah.
Just glue it right back together.
You guys have any hot takes? You want to goss out? What the
More
fuck
goss.
does that mean?
What do you here? Well, I'll reword that.
What do you think of Gage and his
Are we friends? Circle
think-
Y or N.
you can't keep a secret, so no.
No, I cannot keep a secret for anything. No. So, Witty,
Yeah.
I was saying to you off mic, I do not envy your position as a woman in this space at
No?
all. No.
You don't Freaky Friday try it for a little
No, I am all set on that.
yes, actually, I would take that deal.
Yeah. What do you think? How can you solve that right now? What is your solution to that? What do you
bit?
think?
It's all on me. Okay.
Yeah.
Whew, okay.
You have to fix the world problem on misogyny.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, I'm ready.
It's specifically in the wargaming space because I want to discuss this, but I want to hear your thoughts on this first. What do you
Yeah.
think? What do you think is the fucking like worst agitator of this?
Well, I mean, it's what also fixes it is just like the access that everybody has to each other without having to like put your name and face to everything. And I think, whatever you surround yourself with on the internet, whatever you're consuming, you're going to see a lot more of it. So when someone gets mad, seeing me talk about something like, I don't know, female custodies or something on the internet, they're going to interact with it and they're going to leave a shitty comment and then they're going to see other people talking about it. So to them, those people are like, well, this is what everybody's trying to do. Everyone's trying to take over my hobby, and get real mad about it. But the thing is that the thing that's going to fix it is like, if I talk about it, for the most part, people don't care, which sounds shitty, but like for the most part, like those men who are doing it are like, okay, well, this is like, this is like an emotional, like,
This opinion is less anyway, so I don't care.
Right. But then if like someone says something and you go, hey, that's not cool.
Right.
Then they're actually going to listen to it.
Right. Yeah. It's such a weird concept to me that this is even a conversation we have to have with adults.
Yeah.
In wargaming, people that are playing fucking toys are having these misogynistic comments and expressions.
What do you think
but,
about
like, what
women
that's-
custodies?
What do I think about them?
Yeah.
I think they're fucking sick.
What do you think about them?
I think they're cool.
Yeah, Witty hates
Yeah,
them
they're
actually.
cool.
Off mic, she talks about how much she hates them.
I think-
Lore.
I think custodies are lame no matter what their
I think being able to play them-
That's the ultimate take. Yeah, custodians just suck.
Being able to
Period.
play them is dumb.
But Henry Cavill likes
I don't give a fuck. He can play Eisenhorn.
Wait, you're saying just as custodies being just all powerful is dumb?
I think that them in the lore as
Is
a
this
thing
because
that
my
exists is cool.
custodies kill team is
Listen, I would
undefeated?
fucking stomp you now.
Okay.
Don't even
All
strap.
right. Cancel the show tonight. You're playing kill team.
I think that's
tonight.
the only time you've ever beat me, and it was only by points.
Yes, and I'm going to say it on air.
Yeah. How? Yeah. We're gonna play a game after this. I'm just gonna kick your ass just to prove my point. Yeah, I thought they were really cool as like a thing that just exists. Like, oh, they're in the throne room defending the emperor. You don't see them. Like they're too fucking badass to be engaged with. But now anyone can just play them, and that's dumb.
It's like that whole thing in the lore where
Quote,
Imperial
unquote.
citizens can live their entire life without ever seeing a Space Marine.
Which is
And
also
there's
cool.
Thousands and thousands of Space Marines in the world, and then the Custodies are like, I don't know how many.
There's 10,000 only.
Yeah, 10,000 only. So
Yeah.
how often are you going to see them? We shouldn't even see them on the table.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Send them home.
Yeah.
And when you do, you're going to, for the most part, they're like, people being like upset about it. It's like, for the most part, like you wouldn't even be able to tell. I feel like they'd look basically exactly the same.
I think it's just
They're all
a
fucked
head
up.
swap.
Like, yeah. But I mean, like, even if they didn't have like their helmets on, like I feel like everyone looks fucked up. Like they all
Yeah.
look the
yeah.
same.
Yeah.
They'll have like bioports put into their heads.
Yeah,
like
right.
scars. all
I mean,
over their
this
face.
is even still like kind of just besides the point of what I was saying. Like having a conversation with adults that are playing toys that
What's the thing though is that like this is a world for people with Peter Pan syndrome who I mean that though. It's like gaming anyway. It's like people who are not like particularly well adjusted socially, you know.
yes.
Who are like not used to interacting with people that are different from them. So I think that really the only way, obviously like Witty said, is for, people to be a good ally and to just like, you don't have to like fight with people, but like let them know how silly they look.
Yeah.
check them.
Yeah,
you,
exactly.
you don't have to fight with someone. You just make fun of them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, why are you such a loser?
I understood like the Peter Pan syndrome thing conceptually, but I think what really made it sink in for me was reading a comment on something that I wrote where somebody was like, yeah, I guess just GW like is not for me anymore. Like they don't care about me anymore. And it's like they never cared about
Yeah,
you. Like
exactly.
Yeah.
they never cared about like this. It has nothing to do with you. They weren't like, all right, we're gonna put out female custodians and this guy out in the middle of like wherever.
Yeah.
Like he's out now. And like reading the things of people talking about reading like verbatim people saying this is why this is what happens when you let women into spaces. Like this is what happens.
Yeah.
And it's just like this weird sense of ownership, and that something is going to take, like someone enjoying something in a way that is different than they're enjoying it is going to take away from what they're doing.
Yeah.
Which I mean, like, our whole ethos is enjoying shit differently than everyone else, so
Right.
it's easier for us to understand.
Yeah.
The other thing too is like people they have such like a relationship with like the company as like a like they want permission or they need permission from GW to like interact with that world.
Yeah.
But like I always say like the only canon that matters is headcanon. Like if you want to have just like a stupid like reactionary worldview, like this all exists in your head.
Yeah.
Female custodies or space marines don't have to exist to you if you don't want them
Don't
to.
play with
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't play with
yeah.
them. Don't think about them.
And don't scream about it on the internet. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I forgot which one of you said it, but we were talking earlier, and it was the energy that someone complaining about GW is expending the same amount of energy as someone that is enjoying GW products, where it's like the person that is on screaming into the void about how much they hate female custodies is the same level of someone that's just like enjoying the game and just having a good time. It is.
You're identified as a 40K person, whether you hate it or not.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
yeah. You're
Like,
still that guy. So
Net
Yeah.
zero.
yeah,
Yeah, like I was saying, like if you're interacting with something, whether it's in a positive or negative way on the internet, that's what you're gonna see.
yep. Yeah, I think it cannot be understated that it's up to non-women, and this can be to any minority group at all, of people calling out just shitty behavior. So it's more apparent to everyone that it's a open space for everyone, let alone just a niche community, but anywhere, obviously.
I just end up making jokes about it all. Like we were talking about the whole like someone saying that I'm an industry plant.
You
I'm
are.
like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Sponsored by
They're
Hivescum.
Yeah.
If you want to sponsor Industry Plants, you can go to patreon.com/Hivescum and we will produce another industry plant for you.
Yes.
To complain
you
about.
could be our new industry plant.
Yes.
I would love to. It's a a lot of responsibility being the only one. I would love for there to be another one right now.
Yeah, Bill declined us, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Couldn't afford his rates.
no, I definitely can't. No, I couldn't spell Berserker Works on YouTube, let alone.
That's why I never got the email.
God damn it! I sent it 30 times. Beautiful.
Just something that's really cool. Like friends have mentioned before with you guys, like going to Nemo and Under the Dice Fest. Very good representation of everybody. Like I don't think I've ever seen that many women playing games in a crowd and having fun.
Oh, the difference between walking around like open gaming at Adepticon and walking around Under the Dice Fest is unreal.
I think it's also the
I would say location helps us a bit with that because our area is a little more accepting and progressive. But I will say I will say thank you for that compliment. But the vibe that is put out is, I think, vastly different than like an Adepticon or.
But it's done in a way where it's not overt. Like you're a cool community with awesome stuff going on, and people come.
Yeah, it just
And they-
naturally happens.
And they come to the event.
it's also not general public. You have to consider.
Vibe recognize vibe.
Like
Yep.
the amount of
True.
people, I posted everything to like Reddit and online and all these places, and then people I see a month later are like, oh, I wish I knew about this. I live down the street, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like that response might not always be a good thing that person
Exactly.
you know what I
didn't
mean?
invite
Yeah.
you because you're a piece of shit.
Yeah. Like there's a reason that like the headline when we made the Discord and it was like be nice or else. Like
Yes, yeah. There's a lot of that for sure.
But even with an unmoderated Discord,
oh, it's moderated.
Well, yeah. Nemo is for sure. I mean, but that's the thing within Rust. It's like that's the whole bit. Like no gods, no moderators. It's like
Yeah.
I think just promoting that, like Phil said, promoting that vibe recognize vibe. It's not a overtly thing, but people will instinctually react in the Discord. Like just the other day, someone said something just off the fucking wall, and 8 people were like, "Yo, man, what the fuck?" I was sleeping. Steve was sleeping. All the mods were sleeping, and it was like waking up, and it was like, cool. This is how it should run. This is how a society should be. Everyone should be cool to each other. I don't know. It's not that fucking hard.
But then you see it too, because like if it's a good thing, because now there's more people trying to like host similar events and have similar groups and things like that. Like it's not just one little insular thing. It's a thing that's developing and that more people want to be a part of. So man, it might not be that bad to just be cool with people.
Yeah, because you get cool things out of it.
Exactly,
You know what I mean? You get to play cool ass games with your friends. There's no other vampire games that I want to play right now. I can tell you that. There's another mech game I'd want to play, but
It's okay.
That's okay.
yeah.
It's
You
there's other mech games I want to play too.
yeah, exactly.
I'm throwing mine in the trash.
That's
so it doesn't
fine.
matter.
That's fine. Do you guys have any closing words? Anything you want to say before we open a window and not sweat to death in here?
Find the light switch.
Yeah, that too.
I'd like to say thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Thanks for having
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, thank you guys for coming
yeah.
and hanging
Yeah.
out this
You
weekend.
drove really
It's been
far.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
50
Bill-
hours.
50 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
Nonstop.
Thanks for having us on the pod, but thanks for just showing us a good time this weekend.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Anytime.
Literally whenever.
Oh, when I move in next door, it's gonna be.
I thought you were moving in here.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I could.
Yeah, in here. We'll get the bunk bed.
Yep.
You'll be set.
I don't take up much space.
We're building a kitchen soon, so it's fine.
Nice.
Beautiful. Well,
Goodbye.
goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Adios.
Thanks for checking out this episode of Hive Scum. If you aren't already part of the community, check us out at the In Rust We Trust Discord, which you can find down in the description below. If you have questions you'd like to ask us, you can find our Instagrams down below as well. Or feel free to ask away on the Discord. We also have plenty of extra content and other perks available to our patrons on Patreon. So if you're interested in helping us keep doing what we're doing, then you can find that description below as well. Until next time, folks, keep it grimdark and keep it grimy. Peace.